Turn around! Why am I under the ball? And we got the one! What the is the game? What is this? What is this game?
Man, did 2K really just make this man miss a contact dunk and then turn around, pick up the same man that he just dropped on the missed contact dunk, and 2K allows the same man he picked up to recover the rock? I tell you, 2K25 is so good at being bad, but they're just like okay at being good. Supremely Wash added me on this video clip on X saying, if this is real, this game is just butt cheeks, LMAO. If any of you guys have clips you want me to review in one of these videos about anything involving NBA 2K25, consider adding me on X, and while you're there, drop a follow. This stuff just be pure comedy, I tell you. Today's video is going to be a follow-up from our previous video as we review some more testing results from the good folks over at 2K Labs, where they tested the average make percentage throughout your green window for players who have 3-point attributes in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now I want to break this down for you guys because 2K Labs found out that the peak make percentage, like if you hit the same Q like around 585 milliseconds, which is probably humanly impossible, but if you were able to hit that same Q, there is only a 20% difference in make percentage between having a 63-point attribute and a 99 3-point attribute. I also want you guys to understand that there's a difference here between a peak make percentage, which is directly in the middle of your green window, and an average make percentage, which factors in like the early edge of the green window and the late edge of the green window. Those are usually lower. In today's video, we'll be reviewing the average make percentage, which factors in your entire green window. Firstly, we all know Mike Wang, he wants to keep shooting percentages down, more in line with like real life NBA shooting percentages. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about that, having that in a video game. We recently found out that the only way to make this happen for Mike Wang to play God over shooting is to have RNG incorporated into the game. When there's no RNG, shooters have a pure green window. Although it may be a smaller green window, it will be pure, meaning that if you hit that same target area every single time, it'll be green. Secondly, before we continue and pull up these average make percentages throughout your green window for each level of 3-point attributes, I would like y'all to take note of your current shooting percentage on 2K25. I have a strong feeling that a lot of us 2K players are in like the 40 to 50% shooting make percentage range. And with your current shooting percentage in mind, let's review the first set of 3-point attributes and their make percentages. And by the way, I want to remind you guys that 2K Labs are the people who run these tests. I have a link to the full video that shares a lot of this information. I'll have that in the description below. But if you guys want the best jump shots and you want to increase your shooting percentage, I highly recommend you join NBA 2K Lab Premium. If you consider joining, use promo code AllCity and you can save yourself 20%. 2K Labs, definitely your one-stop shop, the only place you need to go to find the best jump shots for 2K25. Now let's pull up the first set of numbers. Now these are for players who have their 3-point rating in the 60s, 60 to 69. Firstly, one thing I want you guys to take note of as we go through these numbers in increments of 10, the difference between having a 60 and a 69 is roughly about 10%. As your attributes begin to climb higher, that gap between the beginning number and the last number gets smaller and smaller, from 70 to 79, 80 to 89, and 90 to 99. Your average make percentage throughout your green window for having a 63-pointer is roughly about 26%. It climbs up slowly until you hit the 65 3-point range, where you unlock set shot specialist on bronze, jumping you to 32%. At the tail end, having a 3-point attribute of a 69 will garner you a 36.5 make percentage. Now remember, I had asked you guys to take note of your current make percentage on NBA 2K25. I'm curious to know how far off is your current make percentage having a higher 3-ball to these average make percentages for players who have 3-point attributes in the 60s. There's no need to be embarrassed here. These are flaws in the system, and hopefully these type of numbers help to bring awareness when you're out there creating your builds and adding attributes to your build that are extremely taxing, limiting your potential for other attributes or other areas in your build. For instance, adding a 3-point attribute over a dunking attribute, but you come to find out that your 3-point percentages are more in line with players who have attributes in the 60s. Just try and make a mental note of this stuff as we continue on and move into the 70s now. Now let's pull up this next screenshot from the test results that 2K Labs provided the 2K community, showing the average make percentages throughout your green window for players players who have 3-point attributes in the 70s. Right off rip, you notice that that gap has already been cut in half. From 70 to 79 is dropped from 10% to 5%. From 60 to 69, there was a 10% difference for your average make percentage throughout your green window. From 70 to 79, there's only about a 5% difference. And that 5% difference was spread throughout attributes 70 to 79. Having a 73 pointer could garner you a 37 make percentage throughout your green window. Having a 79 3-point attribute will garner you a 42% make percentage throughout your green window. I have a feeling some of y'all like, hold on, I have like a 90 some 3 and I'm shooting 40%. How does a 79 3-point attribute garner a very similar make percentage as someone in the 90s? Moving on into the average make percentage throughout your green window for players who have 3-point attributes in the 80s. Again, yet cut in half the difference between 80 and 89. 60 to 69, there was a 10% difference. 70 to 79, that number was cut in half down to a 5% difference. And now we're in the 80s, 80 to 89. There's about a 2.5% difference, cut in half yet again. But the crazy part about this is that in the 80s, 3-point attributes in the 80s, things get really weird. Firstly, take a look at having an 83-point attribute versus having an 86 3-point attribute. It is the exact same make percentage. And moreover, why is your make percentage throughout your green window higher from 80 to 86, but drops down when you have an 87? Why is your 88 3-point average make percentage higher than 89? The good homie Spillboy goes over all of these numbers, so I highly recommend you check out the full video. Again, I'll have that link in the description below explaining the differences in these numbers, and he even found it fishy. Like, what's going on with the 83-point attributes on NBA 2K25? Something just seems really fishy and off here. But before you guys start getting crazy about these numbers and the differences between 3-point attributes, just make that mental note that the only difference between 80 and 89 is a 2.5% make percentage difference. So sit back and ask yourself, what is the real difference? Like, how much of an impact is 2.5%? Because as you increase that 3-point attribute up from 80 to 89, it starts really taxing your build, limiting you from putting attributes elsewhere on your build. Now let's pull up the average make percentage for players who have 3-point attributes in the 90s. The first thing I would like you guys to take note of is that there's only a 3% difference between having a 93-point attribute and having a 99 3-point attribute. I also want to make you guys fully aware that these test results were created by 2K Labs taking over 100,000 shots. 2K Labs found out that it seems to be that 92 3-ball is that sweet spot for most players. The difference between a 92 3-ball and a 99 3-ball is only a little over 1%, maybe something like 1.2%. But as you guys know, when you're making your builds out there, the amount of tax that 2K puts on that build, not to mention the cost for VC by increasing that attribute to 99, extremely limits how many attributes you could place elsewhere on your build. For NBA 2K25, I created 2 builds with a 99 3-ball. And now it could be used to error, but I could tell you from experience that I'm extremely dissatisfied with my 99 3-ball. Now I know there's different play styles, because with my 99 3-ball, I'm actually playing the 1, but I feel like I hit more consistently with players that have a lower 3-point attribute. Surely that could just be a matter of the way in which I play as a spot up or, the primary ball handler. Stamina does play a huge factor in the shots you take. The best way to describe this is if you're playing in like sweaty game modes, if you primarily play in sweaty game modes against higher level competition, those sweaty bumpy locks, the badges that you have on your shooting build may play more of a significant factor. But I personally see no reason for spot up shooters to go over 92. And what are we really looking at here? A 3% difference between 90 and 99? Does this whole system seem backwards to y'all? A 99 3-ball gets you all red shooting badges. I've played on 2 builds this year with all red shooting badges, a 99 3-ball. Again, I acknowledge that this may be user error, but I personally see no significant impact or significant difference between having all of those red badges and then some of my players that have like an 86 3-ball. Damn near no red badges. I have trouble understanding why 2K is limiting those players who are out there creating builds to shoot good, knowing that those same players are limiting other areas in their builds just for the sake of wanting to shoot good. 99 3-ball usually means that you're gonna have to either limit defense or finishing. Some players even consider limiting their playmaking. I can't understand why 2K doesn't want to reward these players for creating the build that they wanted to create. Throughout the years, I've learned that more 2K players seem to have more fun when they play on those 2K, those versions of of 2Ks that allow you to shoot more consistently. A lot of us create these type of builds dropping more money on the game expecting a certain type of result. And there's nothing more embarrassing than having a 99 3-ball, all red badges, and missing wide open shots in your Litus with your takeover badge activated. It's my opinion that your green window should be gigantic if you're wide open, but it seems to be that 2K's opinion is, nah, homie, no breaks here. I have trouble understanding why I need to have my face stuck on the screen, all up in the screen, just to knock down wide open shots. Meanwhile, that player with an 80-some 3-ball, or for instance, the difference between a 63 ball and a 99 3-ball is only 20%. Doesn't that undermine the effectiveness and impact of all the badges that have been incorporated into the game? Doesn't that undermine the introduction of legend shooting badges? We all know that 2K is a money-hungry type of business. They're a corporation, I understand that, I don't knock them for that. We know 2K makes a lot of their money from 2K players making new builds. But these numbers that we review today do not justify the actual action of going out there and making a new build to apply these type of attributes to that build. It seems like a lot of us will all be better off if we just kind of average out the attributes throughout our build. Something like a jack of all trades and master of none mentality. Because the only difference between a jack of all trades and a master at a particular attribute is 2.5%. So you guys tell me, is it really worth adding those attributes just to look like the master on 2K? As always, I'm curious to hear your thoughts about this stuff. Share them in the comment section below. If any of you guys are new here, consider dropping a like and a sub on your way out, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all. If you guys are tired of running with randoms and you're looking for players to run with on NBA 2K, come on out and join the AllCity 2K Discord. The link will be in the description below. Find players and get runs now. Drop a like and drop a sub on your way out. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.